Welcome to the Catherine Vandome and Me podcast.
Hashtag hosts and the HQFM quiz and bingo software are proud to sponsor the Catherine Vandome and Me podcast. With HQFM quiz and bingo software, you can use this interactive quiz software at any venue. All you need is an internet connection. Go to hashtagquiz.co.uk for your free trial today.
Hello and welcome to Catherine Vandome and Me. And today I'm joined by an incredibly talented singer and actress. She was the Eurovision Song Contest Entrant for Iceland, and she came second in the entrant competition. And she's also incredibly a voiceover artist for masses of cartoons all over Iceland. She played Joy in Inside Out, and she also, my personal favourite, is Peppa Pig, Iceland's Peppa Pig. And please welcome onto today's show the incredible Sigga from Iceland. Hello, Sigga, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I just want to say, can you just tell the audience your full name? Because I have been trying this morning and that's why we're giggling.
Okay.
You've got a beautiful name, but you say it better than I do. So please introduce your full name.
Well, my full name is Sigga Eyrun, but I'm always just called Sigga or Sigga Eyrun.
Fantastic. Sigga Eyrun.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm doing my best there. So beautiful name. And we met, didn't we, at the Guildford School of Acting many years ago. And if you want to just say a little bit about that, where we met, and a little bit, Sigga, about who you are and what you do, just to share with us. And then we'll go back in time.
Yeah, we met at the musical theatre program in Guildford School of Acting in, I think it was 99. And since then, I did some acting work here in Iceland, and then I moved to Canada, where I lived in Toronto for 6 years. And so my accent is all over the place. I was very British when we last spoke, but now I'm...
Oh, you speak better English than me, Sigga.
I'm off into English, your English accent, because I'm such a parrot. And then I moved to Canada, and then I've been living in Iceland now again since 2006, or 7, and I've been working here as an actor, singer, mostly in musicals and doing voiceovers and audiobooks. So I'm mostly a voice actor, I guess.
Fantastic. Well, that is absolutely incredible. And another set of talents to your skills that I could obviously see back then, because you have one of the best voices, Sigga, that I have ever heard, a strength and a power that absolutely knocked the socks off all of us when you walked in the room. You really have got an incredible singing voice. So I'm not surprised. I am surprised that you didn't win Eurovision independently, but I am not surprised that you got through to become a finalist there, and we're going to hear a little bit about that as well. So just tell us a little bit more about that then. So you met me at the Guildford School of Acting, but if we go back in time to your childhood, Sigga, how did things start there? So can you mention a little bit about your parents and how things were in Iceland? And is that where you were born?
Yeah, I was born in Iceland, in Breiðholt, which is kind of like there's not really aren't really any rough neighborhoods in Reykjavik, which is the capital where I live. But it's kind of, if there would be one, then that would be it. It's mostly just middle class people. And then we moved to Denmark for 4 years, and to Odense, which is where Hans Christian Andersen lived or was born. So we lived there for 4 years when my dad was studying, me and my 3 brothers. And then we moved back to the old neighborhood. And that's where I grew up. And then I started doing school plays, and I was in bands and always singing. And then I went to a music conservatory in Iceland and started with classical singing. And I got bored with that. So I
Oh,
moved
really? So just tell us why, because you have, obviously you can tell when you sing, you have a real, a classical background, because you have a strength that, oh, you could almost shatter glass, which is an enormous compliment, like an opera singer, or as an opera singer. And it's interesting to hear that was your backdrop, a real power that I've never heard before or since. Beautiful.
Thank you. I think I got bored because I was supposed to sing like not rhythmic music. Like it was all, I wanted to sing Les Mis and jazz numbers like Cole Porter and that kind of stuff. And when I wasn't at the singing school, I was doing like rock and pop. And that was kind of, they were thinking like, maybe that's not good for you if you want to be a classical singer. And which is true. If you want to be an opera singer, you have to train that side of your voice very like focused. You have to be focused on that training. So I realized, I mean, I was only 19 or something, but I realized then that wasn't like, it didn't make my heart beat. Musical theater did. And so I moved over to a different conservatory, and there I was allowed to just sing whatever I wanted, but it was always musical theater.
Wow. And what are your musical theatre favourite? What's your favourite musical, Sigga?
Right now, Book of Mormon is my favorite now, and Hamilton.
Okay. Hamilton, yeah.
I don't think I've ever had so much fun in theater as when I went to see Book of Mormon in New York. It's just amazing. But I think Les Mis always has a special place in my heart. Yeah. And I was in Les Mis here at the National Theatre, like ensemble. And then I was in Mary Poppins here in Iceland. And I played Miss Corey there. Before that, Mary Poppins wasn't necessarily my favorite. But since being in it, it's a great show.
It's incredible. My friend Anthony Bristow in London, he was supporting and helping backstage with Mary Poppins, and he said it's just phenomenal. The visuals, the new songs, the numbers, very, very upbeat and a very exciting show. Is that right?
Yeah. You wouldn't believe because I was the worst dancer in the class.
No, you were not.
I managed to tap dance because I don't know if you know Lee Proud. He's a director, choreographer who has worked a lot in England. He's hired in Iceland quite a bit because he's just fantastic. That was his first job in Iceland, and he managed to get me to tap again. So
wow.
So I was I wasn't in the front, but I was I was tapping.
That's fantastic. And that's the great thing, isn't it, Sigga, about drama school experience, which we'll move on to in a little while, but also about what we start doing. Sometimes we, as you have done, you've transcended from singing into acting, into dancing, and then gone full circle and into animation and voiceover work. So there's so many different genres. That's what this channel's about, celebrating behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. There's not just the performance, but there's also a wealth of talent, as you say, Lee Proud and all the choreographers. There's all of these components that are necessary to make the hybrid of a musical production all come together with the ensemble. And that's the beauty of live theatre, which I think lights you up, and it certainly lights me up as well. It's such a privilege, isn't it, to be in a production. and celebrate with everybody. So you've obviously got an incredible CV there, absolutely incredible. And we haven't seen each other since. We have been in contact on socials, and it's lovely to see how well you're doing. And you've obviously got married, and you've got a little beautiful girl as well, which is magical.
2 girls.
Oh, you've got 2 girls. Oh, fantastic. What are their names?
Laura is my 15-year-old, and then Raun, she's 5.
Oh, fantastic. And are they following in your footsteps?
Yeah, they've both been doing cartoon voiceovers. Laura is in singing school, and she plays the guitar and piano, and she's writing her own music, and she's fantastic. And my 5-year-old just finished the voice of Vaiana's younger sister, or Moana. I don't know. She's got different names. Vaiana, Moana in Europe.
Yeah.
Because of some copyright issues, but she's the younger sister in the new film.
Oh, my goodness. And you're the mum. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. And I want to go on later on to find out like where you go to film and things like that, and how you can influence others and their children as you've just done. This is a real celebration of your whole family. What a talented family you have, and with you at the head of it as well. And it's just incredible to see. So how did it all start, Sigga? Take me right back, if we can. Go right back to your birth, your parents, and what their jobs were. So you said where you were born. And of course, where did you go to school? And just tell us a little bit about your parents and perhaps what their influence on you was.
My mom she worked at the post office. She was like a postal worker, and then she was like the head of the Postal Workers Union for a while. And she's like a fighter, but she was I have 3 brothers, and my oldest one is mentally challenged, so
okay,
she's home quite a bit. But but she's a knitter. She's one of the founders for the Icelandic Hand Knitting Association, which
fantastic.
They have a store here in Iceland, which is very popular with the tourists. And so, and my dad he started out as an electrician, and then when we went to Denmark, he studied engineering, so he's an electrical engineer. So
that's a very good job, Sigga. Everybody wants that today. That's incredible. So you've got a creative side with your mum with the knitting. And what sort of things does she knit, Sigga? I'm very intrigued.
Sweaters. Mostly sweaters, but I tell her that my kid needs mittens for school, and she brings them 2 days later. Like she's really fast.
Wow.
But my dad is quite creative too. He was in bands and plays instruments. And
who's this? Sorry, Sigga. This is your dad?
Yeah, my dad. He's the music comes from his side.
Okay.
So, but I think my mom's kind of like determination, and which is half of what you need for this business, is just kind of the kind of toughness and that spirit. That's my mom, I think. My dad is very creative. He's kind of his side of the family. They had a lot of reunions, like family reunions, where we would get together and just sing for a whole weekend. And so that's, I think, where my musical upbringing comes from.
And did your father, when he was playing in a band, can we know what his band was called?
It was before I was born. Oh my God, I don't know.
It doesn't matter. I'm testing people's memories here. And the point is, was he the singer in the band? Was he the frontline singer, or did he play an instrument?
I think it was more like, it was kind of like a Beatles band, kind of. So it was like him and another guy that was singing, and he played the guitar. And
brilliant.
So, yeah.
And can you play any instruments?
Not very well. I can kind of, because I teach singing sometimes, so I can kind of play chords and do the warm up parts.
Well, there you
But
go.
but my husband is he's actually one of the best pianists in Iceland, and he's a musical director, and he plays every instrument. So
Wow.
that kind of makes me lazy with like, I'm like, I want to practice this song. Maybe you can do it.
So you've got your dad in the band. You've got your mum making you sweaters and giving the children lots and lots of scarves and gloves galore. And obviously in Iceland, you're going to need them almost as much as Preston. I think Preston might be colder. I know it's not. Where I live. But yeah, you've got all this support, which is just magical. That's what you want. So you've got a brilliant family support network there, Sigga, and obviously a husband that can play all the instruments. And quite rightly so, if you don't have to do it, it's very nice, isn't it, to lean back and think, right, somebody's going to take that skill. But what's great is because of the power of your singing voice, is that something that you practice every single day? Do you feel are you using your voice a lot? I mean, because it's such a beautiful voice. So you're having lots of rehearsals to do lots of shows and things. And do you find that you need to warm up each day? How do you sort of cope in terms of looking after your health and your voice, Sigga?
Well, I woke up this morning with a cold, and I just, because I teach singing as well, so I'm very aware of what I need to do. So I take vitamin C and grapeseed extract drops and echinacea every day. It's like, it's a ritual.
Good.
So and also I just keep it, I keep my body healthy. If I don't go to the gym and I get like kind of mushy in my abdomen and in my core, that affects my voice. So, now I have a cold, but I have a singing gig next week, and I'm not nervous because I know I have a healthy.
What you're saying is you've got yourself a good, strong physical, mind and body support, because your body and your mind, particularly in our industry, has to be of optimum health. Do you drink alcohol, can I ask?
Not often, but I mean, I have a glass of wine with my friends, and
Yeah.
I go out not as much as I used to, but
Yes.
yeah, I mean, not. I think I have like an average, maybe a glass of wine a week, and then I go out every now and then, maybe
Of
like
course. And
another month.
what I mean is with our industry, we were always taught at the Guildford School of Acting as well, make sure that you look after your health, don't smoke, don't drink, don't have any fun. Very much look after your diet. And that, all I mean is that's part and parcel, isn't it, of our health is essential, because you can't do a performance if you've not looked after your health. And I just wondered, before you do any of the big shows, just to help anybody else that's wanting to come into this industry, what I'm hearing you say is that you really do need to look after your health on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Not like, I don't do cleanses. I don't do, I just make sure every day is good. And if I do something, like if I have a piece of chocolate, that's fine.
Yes.
But in general, I keep a healthy life. And I mean, when COVID hit, the only thing that changed was that I washed my hands.
Yeah.
The way people were like, make sure you wash your hands. I'm like, don't you do that? Why is that a new thing? Just wash your hands. And don't share water bottles, and don't.
So what you're saying is you had all the cleanliness routines, as I did anyway, but suddenly we were being told to do things that we thought were natural.
Why are there signs up to wash your hands and not stay like this close to people in queues at the supermarket? It's like, just do that always.
Yeah, something that we would take for granted.
Yeah.
But no, I think so. You're telling me back in your childhood, you had, was it 2 brothers or 3 brothers altogether?
3 brothers.
3 brothers. So there's 4 children altogether. 3 brothers, and are you the youngest, Sigga?
No, I'm third.
Okay, your third. And what was that like? Like for me personally, we used to do singing and dancing and acting in our home. And we had these brilliant curtains that we opened and we'd come through the curtains. And that's kind of how it started for me. Did you have anything celebratory like that in your childhood with your family?
I think so. My oldest brother is mentally challenged, and he was kind of. I mean, we didn't play. Like he's 6 years older than me too, so he was kind of. We didn't have a good relationship, so to be honest. So, but we're okay today. But it was tough for me.
Yeah.
And then my brother, who was next in line, there's 3 years between us. We had music. We shared our music, and then he passed away from meningitis when he was 19, and I was 17.
Oh,
So that was kind of that's when I started taking my music as a career. So, but doing that stuff that you say, like with doing plays at home and stuff, that's what I did with like my best friend lived next door, and she had 3 sisters.
and what
So
was her name, Sigga? What's her name?
Either, which is kind of like Audrey, like it's
Oh,
Audur.
yes. You
She
say it
doesn't.
so beautifully. Your accent is just beautiful.
And so Either is we kind of grew up like sisters. Like when I moved back from Denmark, we became best friends. Like when we were 8, almost 9, and I was just there all the time. We were just doing like we were doing Little Shop of Horrors,
Yes.
taking turns in playing Audrey or the Three Girls, and then so and all the ABBA songs and like with our hairbrushes. Like ABBA. I was always the dark-haired one because she's like platinum blonde, and
Oh, facing away and moving towards each other. So that
yeah,
was in your young childhood. So you had somebody to celebrate the stage and your passion. So would you say, like for myself, I feel like I was almost born into the stage. It was all I've ever done. And I've always felt for you also that it's in your blood almost, straight away, would you say?
yeah. I've always, I mean, I did my teaching degree when I was having kids, and I love teaching, but I can't imagine teaching without also performing.
Yeah.
Like I think in order to be a good arts teacher, you have to be an active artist yourself.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that works for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I always have to make sure I have some projects on the side. So it's always 50-50 teaching and performing.
So you've got a very creative mind, is what I hear, and
Mhm.
to be able to do such a wealth of talented genres within theatre, musicals, voiceover, live, almost representing Eurovision. I mean, goodness me, maybe another time, another year is your opportunity and time. And I hope and I really do. I will be voting for you if that happens again. So basically all these different talents, hybrid of talents, you were also creating as well. And what were the subjects that you enjoyed doing at school? Because I loved sports and English. Maths was not my subject. What was your favourites?
Uh, I think my favorite was English.
Yeah.
So Icelandic and English. I've always been good with languages. Um, I liked sports until I was a teenager. Then I couldn't be bothered. I
But now you're
like,
tapping, so there's something there.
yeah. No, I like dancing, but like sports, like we play a lot of handball in Iceland, like
Oh,
handball and football and it's kind of I don't like aggressive sports. I just kind of go, ugh.
yeah,
But I
I'm the same.
like yeah, I was in gymnastics when I was a kid. So I mean, I did dancing there and I'm strong. I've always liked, physical stuff, but I remember this the sports teacher in my school she was a handball. She liked handball. So I was like, we were always playing handball.
Tell us, right,
Eight
Sigga, tell us what handball is. Is it like that film where they throw the ball at you? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's not dodgeball. No,
It's not dodgeball.
no.
When you said I don't like aggressive sports, I was thinking, what is this sport? What is handball? You explain to us
kind
what
of
you.
like football, but it's
Okay.
inside and smaller fields, and you throw the ball into a goal.
Okay.
So I did dancing like in school plays, just
Yeah.
kind of yeah.
Yeah, because you have got that flair. I've seen you, and you can absolutely move and dance very, very well. So many people come on here, and I love that. Very self-deprecating. No, no, I can't. But actually, yes, you can. You have a beautiful skill there as well, and that's the thing. You have to be able to do singing, dancing, and acting to do the musicals. So you know it is important that people hear that, and I say this quite regularly. It's important that. Really, I'm sure you agree to try and start doing these disciplines if you can when you're little, so that you can get that practice and fluidity of movement and expression. And they all interlink, don't they? Because even an actor needs to be able to physically move in the space, you know, or even to sing, you need to physically move onto the space to be able to sing. And being more understanding of your own body and how you move is absolutely quintessential to performance. So you obviously tick all those boxes, and I want to know, what was your biggest influence, and was there somebody when you were growing up that influenced you in this profession aside from your talented father?
I think my brother, and I think it was more just watching films and watching. I was obsessed with Whitney Houston. I tried to mimic her, like the way she moved her mouth and the way she stood while she was singing, and Whitney Houston was a huge influence. And then Julie Andrews, I tried to mimic her as well. I was really early aware of how people kind of moved their body to make a sound.
Yes.
So, and I was always studying that. I was really aware of like how much does she open her mouth? Does she show her teeth? And does she I can see her tongue doing this, and so I was a nerd. Like a
No, that is an
voice
incredible
nerd.
insight. This is something no one has ever said to me. So this is incredible. It just shows where your passion is. As you say, your passion was not in the sports, in that particular game. Your passion was obviously in singing. So you were studying it. You were studying the mouth movement, the mouth placement, the posture of the body, how you have to put your shoulders down and back in order to project, how you use the abdomen to create the sound, because our body is the instrument when we sing, as we both know. And it's very hard to teach somebody to sing because it's an internal mechanism. I have found, and certainly when I was training with you, very difficult to almost reverse habits of how we stand, how we speak, and where the sound comes from. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think first of all, like it's different with habits, getting rid of habits, like physical habits, and then also the other side which is like pitch. Some people say that you get born with perfect pitch, and some people say that it's something you learn. I think it's a mixture of both. Like, I grew up with people singing around me all the time and listening to music, and oh, did you hear that in the music? Did you hear that chord change? And so I kind of listen to music differently than maybe someone who doesn't know what their favorite singer is, or just. And then, okay, I want to learn how to sing. So you make them sing something and you're like, oh no, that's not the right note, go up a little bit. What's up? We start from different places. And then there's people that have good pitch but have bad habits. And I think you can train things, but I think it's also very important to think that it takes patience. You have to be very patient with yourself, and you have to show yourself like be gentle with yourself.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
because it's the voice is so connected with our nerve system. So if you're tense, if you're constantly going like, no, that's not good, then your voice is gonna crack. It's, I mean, you have to be free and you have to feel like you're kind of. I say to my students sometimes like, take the note that you're singing and kind of embrace it and lift, make it fly, rather than going, "Ah, I want to do it," like then you're
Yes.
gonna crack. You have to be,
Gosh, that's
you have to be
very
kind of,
that's very valuable what you've just said, because a lot of people, we tend to strain and we tend to lift up the neck and the chin,
Mhm,
the shoulders rise. I always say, don't, to children, don't put your shoulders up as earrings,
mhm,
bring the shoulders down. So we tend
mhm,
to reach for a note when we are not trained. And
mhm,
we, as you say, there's a lot of tension then that goes into the neck, it goes into the nervous system. And yes, okay, you might be able to sing for a week like that, but it's not a
mhm,
longevity. And what you're saying is, build your echinacea and your vitamin C and put your vitamins into your body, put the right nutrients in so that your whole drainage mechanism and your mobility and everything is optimum, your health is optimum. But at the same time, make sure that you're singing correctly, sorry, so that you've got the correct placement of the
mhm.
voice. So any other advice there on anybody that wants to follow you and be like you, Sigga? Any advice for them? Anybody coming up the ranks in terms of
I think
singing?
also my a very important lesson for me was, don't try to sing stuff that you don't like. Like always, life is not supposed to be a struggle. I mean, it is a struggle. It can become a struggle, but don't make it a struggle. So pick songs that you like. Don't pick it, don't if you can choose a song that you find that gives you something, that makes your heart beat, that makes you laugh or makes you cry. If a song is boring, don't sing it. Then you're gonna just, then your bad habits are gonna come in, and I think that's um, that's very important.
So make sure that when you are starting to learn, particularly to the youngsters,
Mm.
choose something that lights you up, whether it's from the
Yeah.
television or a movie, and
Mhm.
start to adapt that and build that into your voice. And I remember one of the vocal coaches at our drama school was qualified from the Royal Academy of Music. And I remember him saying to me, make sure that you get rid of all the songs you've been auditioning in the West End with previously, because you've got all your old habits attached to
Mhm.
those songs. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's, I've done that. I've kind of just put songs aside, and then I've visited them like 10 years later and gone, oh, that's a completely different song now. And then
Yes.
songs that I was obsessed with, and I was just like, oh, I want to reach that note, and oh, I love that song. And then I visited back, and it's kind of, oh, the only reason I wanted to sing that song was because of one note. There's nothing in that song. Like it doesn't tell a story. And like I think it's also just like um yeah, you change. And if you're
Yes.
stuck in a rut, move on.
That's really wise. So
Yeah.
not just metaphorically and physically and emotionally, but actually if your voice is almost sort of kind of talking to you and saying, look, this isn't going anywhere, it doesn't mean that you can't revisit it, as you say, 10 years later. But for now, put that aside and then find your voice and find
Mhm.
what type of a singer you want to be, whether it be opera, musical, pop, whatever what you're drawn to, and then work towards that. And is that what you do as you're a vocal coach as well, Sigga? Do you train people of all ages?
Mostly 19-year-olds and up.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, I teach at, right now I'm teaching at a musical theatre department in a singing conservatory. And I think the youngest is 19 and
Wow.
they're up to 35. So there's three of us singing there. No, teaching there the singing.
And
So
is that quite rewarding, considering we as little tots, I say little tots a long time ago, considering we went through that journey as well? Is it quite nice to think, my goodness, I'm now the role that I looked up to when I was younger?
yeah, I really like it. Because you have to audition to get in there. So I don't have students in my class that are kind of going, I don't want to sing this. It's like
Yeah,
you wanted to be here. It costs a lot of money.
yeah.
So, make use of your time. And they're all mature enough to be aware of that.
Wow.
I have taught younger kids that their parents have contacted me and can my kids study with you? And then they come and it's like they're not really into singing. So why are you making them, so I've always been honest with that because I am very busy, so I don't want to waste my time with people that don't want to share
Yeah.
their time with me.
Well, that's very valuable as well. You are a professional, and that's important for people to hear.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different teachers who have lots of strings to the bow, but if you really are keen and you want to work professionally in this industry, what I hear you're saying is that your level is a very, and I know this personally, a very highly esteemed level to come and find Sigga if they want to learn to sing, because her voice is absolutely incredible, and her talent as well. And if you want the correct training and you want to go further in this business, then perhaps learning with you, Sigga, would be the first step towards doing that, particularly with the voice. And what's really good is back in your childhood then, going back to that, you started to explore, did you say, musicals within your youth? Is that correct? Did you
Yeah.
start to do that?
Yeah, the first film I saw in a cinema was Annie, and it was I just remember the feeling. It was just like, what? All these kids singing and dancing, and I fantasized about being an orphan.
Yes.
That's such a normal family, and and then yeah, Sound of Music was I think the other film that I was obsessed with. Um, and yeah,
And did you do musicals, I mean, Sigga, like after school or anything? Because I did a lot of after school performances from Shakespeare through to musicals. Did you have a hybrid of after school activities like that? I mean,
I think the school system in Iceland is quite different to England. Like,
okay.
theater isn't such a big part of the school system. It has become a bigger part now. But when I was growing up, it was kind of, if you want to do a play, then if there's a teacher in the school who is interested in that, then maybe. But when I was in school, I kind of just did it.
Yeah.
Me and my friends were just like, let's do a show, and the school will just give us the space to do it. And it just depended on how great the teachers were at the time. So we did it ourselves. And I think that was a really good school for me. Like,
Yeah.
I created a theater school for myself, I guess. But I think in when I lived in Denmark, there were shows. There was like little school plays, and there was there was a show. My mom has a picture of me where we were doing like I don't know what it's called in English. It's like a fairy tale about uh, a goat, and she has what are they? Baby
Billy
goats.
Goat's Gruff, three Billy
Yeah.
Goat's Gruff.
So she's like the mom, and she has 7 billy goats. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
wolf that knocks on the door, she goes out, and the wolf knocks,
Yes.
and so the other kids kind of froze. So I ended up playing all the parts.
I
That
was
was my
just
first theater experience.
my next question was
Like,
going to be, my next question, Sigga, was going to be, were you a confident child? I think you've just answered that.
very confident. I was the only girl too in my, with my siblings. So, and also with my mom, on my mom's side, I was the only girl from all my cousins as well. So I was kind of used to having to take my place. Like,
Yes.
there's no glass roof in that I had to break. I just broke it when I was born. So, but yeah, so yeah, I was very confident.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And that's why you've achieved what you have as well. But a lot of artists I speak with, they do say that we put a front on, but underneath we're very shy. But you and I both share that innate confidence that I don't know why some people are, some people aren't. And we're very lucky in a way, Sigga, that we can go into all these different genres. And yes, we might have nerves, and that's important. Do you suffer from nerves at all? Because confidence, there's always something underneath there as well. How do you feel?
Um, Usually I'm not nervous. I get like jitters, but I
Yeah,
think they're good. I've
yeah,
learned to kind of, and that's what I say to my students, like think of them as butterflies rather than knots. So it's kind of, if you didn't have nerves, then you wouldn't care about what you're doing. You get the nerves because you want to do well. So I kind of think of it as an adrenaline shot rather than something that stops me. Um, I get nervous. I went through a horrible experience 10 years ago where my son died at birth, and after that, it took me a long time to kind of trust my instincts and trust. I think it's also because I was going through trauma. I couldn't remember lyrics, and so I always had to have, when I was singing somewhere, I always had to have sheet music in front of me. I think it kind of broke my confidence for a while,
yeah.
but I was able to build it up again. So it's not a problem anymore. But and I think that's also something that I got through, that I think through teaching, because I was helping kids that were struggling with nerves. I was able to tell them, mirror myself. I mean, haven't gone through what I've gone through, but um, their nervous system was maybe in the same kind of shock. So I was able to, teach them breathing exercises. And then when I was teaching them, and I kind of, okay, that's what I have to do as well. So I think I'm getting, I'm actually really good at managing my stress. But before I just learned my lines and I just did them. It was never like something I had to like work on. I just learned my lines. It just went into my head straight away. But after my experience with my son, I've had to kind of find a technique for it, which is good. I had it, I learned it, but I just never had to use it. But now I
Wow.
do.
Wow. And can you tell us a little bit more about that? How did that emotionally knock you? That's a very horrific experience to go through, Sigga. And if anybody out there is going through anything of a similar level today, what outreach, what support, what therapy, what obviously you've used your singing and you've helped others in order to have that knock-on effect to potentially help you through as well. So being with others is also a good thing. But what did you do, and what support mechanisms could you share to cope with something as enormous as that? And I am so sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I think phew. It was, well, he was born, there was a lot of anger that came with this trauma, because he couldn't get out, so he died, but he was um, brought back to life, but he never managed, like his brain was dead, so he died 5 days later. And so we it went through the court system, and we won the case. Oh no, it didn't go through the court system. It was kind of dealt with before that, because we couldn't deal with the process. But the director of, what do you call it? The director of, like the head doctor in the country.
Like public health?
Yeah, they acknowledged the mistake that they made. So they didn't. They should have just taken him out, but they didn't listen to me while I was in birth, and I knew what was happening. but nobody listened. So, and I know that this is a common problem in the health system, that the health system doesn't listen to women, because there's complex issues with us, and the studies are all done in men, and which is amazing that there are so many things with like birth and stuff, and it's all said, oh, nobody's the same, so it's always a different experience. But at the same time, they don't check. I mean, it's such a huge issue. So what I did was, it helped me. I was kind of stuck until the case was closed. I was stuck with a lot of anger, and I think it was almost like I was holding my breath for like 3 years. I was just like, I was so angry, and that kind of, for a while, I couldn't belt a song, because I was just kind of, it was like a heaviness and a constant like knot in
Constriction.
the throat. Yeah,
Constriction.
and so whenever and some songs I just couldn't sing, they were too triggering, and so I kind of, oh, sun came out.
Yeah, the sun only shines on the righteous, Sigga.
Yeah. It's gonna move a little bit.
You're all right. You look beautiful. Do not worry.
So yeah, the sun is just coming out now, and it's 11:25 in Iceland. It's very dark
Wow.
here.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had a lot of therapy. I did a lot of yoga. I talked and talked and talked and talked with people, and I talked with my mom a lot, because I mean, since I lost my brother, she has the experience of losing her kid, and my dad as well. So me and my husband, we talked to them a lot, and then a huge a kind of, I don't want to say like it was a band-aid, but it helped a lot when I had my girl, like my 5-year-old. And another amazing thing happened when I was pregnant with him. I had an audition to be the voice for Joy in Inside Out. I didn't know what the film was about. I just had an audition to, and you get these kind of, it's not animated yet, so you kind of get these kind of weird,
Yes.
things to follow. And I didn't get the concept. I was like, what is this? And they said, oh, it's Amy Poehler is the voice. And I was like, oh, I've done her voice in a cartoon. Like, she did a series called Bessie Higginbottom. Hilarious show that she wrote and played the main character, and I was her voice in that. And then and I said, oh, and then the director decided to tell Pixar that she's been Amy Poehler before, so we would really like to use her. And then I got the call the day before my son's funeral. I got the call from the director that Pixar wanted me. And I said, and he said, are you available tomorrow? And I was like, no, I'm burying my son. And it was like, the guy was like, I'm sorry, because I was pregnant when I saw him. So he was just like, but this film, I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes. Inside Out.
Healing. It was such a healing part for me.
Yes.
Also, because at the time, my older daughter was 5, and she was dealing with her emotions. And so I kind of, when I was dubbing the film, I was like, oh my God, this is a fantastic tool for me to understand my feelings, and for me to help her understand her feelings. So she used to say things like, we were at the mall, and she couldn't see where I was for like 10 seconds. She was like, Mom, I was really purple there, which is like anxiety. What's he called in English? The purple guy. He's like always nervous.
Yes.
Worried.
I can't remember his name, but yes, I know who you mean.
Yeah, because anxiety is the new one in Inside Out too. She's the orange one. Yeah, but the purple one. And so
your daughter was referencing Inside Out as a coping strategy, And can I ask what your little boy was called?
Noe Hrap, which means like Noah, and Hrap is raven in Icelandic. So
Yes.
yeah.
And so I'm assuming the company that you call Pixar, literally, which is a gift to you, they held on to you and changed the date so that you could do that filming. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't think they knew what happened. I think the directors kind of, it's okay, we can just finish the other characters first.
Yes.
But it was so helpful to do it.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was on maternity leave without a baby, so I had
Oh,
nothing to
Sigga.
do. It was horrible.
And just
So
tell us a little bit more about how it felt so that anybody who's watching today, and there will be, I'm sure, a lot of people who have either gone through or potentially might be going through today, what advice can you give to the person that's listening to this story, that's in that moment today, that maybe doesn't have the support network that you have? What can
yeah.
they do? Where can they go? Because that must be absolutely devastating.
Yeah, there's an association here in Iceland for people that have lost babies either during pregnancy or right after, and it's called Forget Me Not. And it's I didn't lean towards them a little bit. I mean, I've kind of followed their social media, and it helped me to read that other people have gone through something as well.
Yeah.
And it helped me there was another actress who went through a similar experience. It helped me a lot to just kind of meet her and just talk and know that what the crazy thoughts that you get when you're going through something like that,
Yeah.
it's okay. Like, and also know that it's gonna be okay. It's always gonna hurt, but it's gonna be okay. You're gonna cope. If you talk to people, like you don't have to spend uh, money on therapists. I mean, that really helped me, but it's also just so important to talk to people.
Yeah.
There was I think he's called the minister, like the pastor at the hospital. He's like a trauma specialist and a priest. He he was a huge help. Um, and he told me that there are so many women, old women, that he's sitting next to at the hospital when they're dying, and they want to talk about the babies that died that they weren't never allowed to talk about, because it's such a horrible thing, babies dying.
Yeah.
But and also I think it's a new thing that people talk about, like miscarriages and and because it's just kind of okay, let's just move on. This wasn't a person. Like, even if you didn't know the character yet, it was a part of you, and it's important to address that and acknowledge it. And I have pictures of my boy, and
Mm.
I keep them up. I make sure when people ask me, like, how many kids do you have? When I'm at a party or at a function or something, and somebody, oh, so how many kids do you have? I just say two, because I don't want to explain how old they are and be at like with a champagne glass and be like, yeah, but no, he's dead. It's I have learned to kind of select my moments when I talk about it, and also because um, my husband and I are quite known in Iceland, so people found out what happened, and there was gossip, and what happened. Like, it was always kind of what happens. Like, people fill in the gaps. So we went public with our story, and there was a TV show that kind of dissects things that did our story. And after that, it was kind of easier to go out. Like, I was always nervous. I was very scared of going to the supermarket. Like, what if I run into someone and somebody starts asking me. I don't want to talk about it. But after that, it was kind of people just ran into me and went, "Hi, I'm sorry, what happened?" And that's fine. Like we don't have to. You can just watch the show.
Yes, yes. What a powerful, very moving story, Sigga, that you have just shared. And I do hope that anybody watching is able to tap into your strength and also.
There's a woman I know who lost her baby. She was five days old when she died, and it's been 50 years. And she she thought she was having a heart attack on her 50th birthday, like on
Oh,
the baby's 50th birthday. And she went to the hospital, and fortunately she lives in a small town, so the nurse knew what she had gone through 50 years ago. So she kind of just made her talk about it, and her heart, there was no heart problem anymore. I mean, she was just going through, her heart was literally breaking.
yeah.
And I believe that can happen if you don't get your shit out. Sorry,
Yes,
my French. But
yes,
if you don't like talk about things and kind of put things in perspective, life can be so horrible. Life is tough. But and I'm not saying life is tough, move on. I'm saying life is tough, let's talk about it.
yes,
And because then if we don't talk about it, then we're always going to have this kind of, our knot is just going to get bigger
yeah,
in our stomach.
yeah.
And yeah, and I think I grew up with, like when my brother died when I was 17 and he was 19, my dad talked and the house was full of people. We all talked and talked and talked and talked. And they went to an organization for people that have are going through grief, and met other people that were going through grief. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be a normal teenager, but uh, I think that made them move on. That made them be able to be good parents to us,
Yeah.
the three kids that were left. And I think it's so common that you're not allowed to talk about things. Then how are you gonna give back to
Yeah.
everything that's left? You have to focus on what's left and what you can nurture. And I was so angry. I still get angry
Yeah.
about what happened, but I've learned to not hang on to it. I've learned to focus it on something else, um, by talking about it, because I still get letters from women that um, have gone through birth and somebody hasn't listened, and they go into birth scared and say, "I know Sigga. I read Sigga's story. You have to listen to me." And I don't think any health professional wants to make mistakes. I don't think they want to, but I think we're all human, and we can all get stuck in thinking we're right.
Yeah.
But then we have to like do a check. I've done that with, I mean, a student, or I've been like, like, let my emotions. I mean, people can be annoying. People can be rude, but sometimes you just kind of have to go, am I right?
Yes,
Or is this person hurt? Like,
yes.
is this about me?
And what you've just said was so empowering. And I say in my book, hurt people hurt people. What's going on behind all of us? We all have traumas of different descriptions.
Yeah.
And what is it that's causing that to manifest in somebody's unkind or unprofessional action? Or ego. The ego is something that really does stop the truth from coming out, where people want to be right so much because they daren't accept that there was mistakes made in both of our circumstances. and what we are doing, both of us, as you know, particularly yourself, a very empowering woman, very talented, but also very empowering and endearing. I think it's important that you continue, and maybe that's your vocation, as mine is with ME, for the rest of our lives, to almost mother anybody coming up the ranks who are going through those situations. And how many years is it since this occurred?
It in January, it's 10 years.
10
It was in
years.
2015, yeah.
And moving ahead with that, are you now feeling that you're in a more, as you say, you can never get over something like that, of course, but in your own mindset, as you say, with your other two beautiful daughters, do you feel that you are able to cope each day? And is there anything, even the smallest of things, Sigga, that you can share?
I think one of the things that this priest that I'm talking about, I'm not a very religious person. He's a special man, this guy.
Yeah.
He taught me that you're if you think of yourself like a car, and your gas tank is never going to get full again. So because of this experience, you have to make sure that your gas tank is going to empty a lot faster. So I just make sure that I am aware of that.
Yeah.
So I'm aware of I don't if I have a busy week at work, I don't have time for, I mean, I give myself a vacation from all the parental duties. I mean, I don't have to be in all the committees and do everything for my girls, like for their schools. I just do as much as I can.
Yes.
And I just make sure I'm there for them. And then I think I'm just picky with where I spend my time. And also, it's taught me to not waste, not
Yeah.
waste. I don't spend my time with people that are kind of, if I sense that people don't like me,
Yeah.
which is fine, people are
Yeah.
allowed not to like me,
Yeah.
then I don't want to, if they don't nurture me, then I mean, I don't avoid people, but I don't make sure, I make sure I don't spend my time, give them my time.
So anybody
Yeah.
going through trauma, spend your time with people who light you up, not people that put you down. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, and also be aware, like when my friend Öður that I talked about before, my neighbor that I grew up with,
Yeah.
one of her sisters passed away this fall, and it kind of emptied my gas tank immediately. So I had to talk to my boss at the singing school and go, can you take some of my students for a while, because I have to make sure that I don't crash. I think I recognize the signs of crashing.
Yeah.
So that's another advice. I think you have to put yourself first, and your family, the people you love, and work is just work.
Yes.
I think also after I had kids, that's kept me grounded.
Yes.
So like after I have had kids, if I do a show, I go straight home after the show. A lot of the young people kind of go out after the show. I go home
Yes.
because I have to wake up when they wake up. But I think no, I don't think there was a time when I was single and without kids that I worked way too much.
Okay.
But it was never not fun. It was always fun.
So anything else that you do day to day to cope with this? You celebrate, I'm assuming you celebrate Noah's life, and by living through that and celebrating it, if you like, with your other children, the same way perhaps that your mother did in her story as well. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I just I think we just, it's a rule in our house, we talk about our things. Like we don't have the television on when we're eating dinner. We talk about our day. and our phones are not at the kitchen table. And I think that small rule, that and dinner and breakfast, is kind of holy moments in our house.
Yes. I think that's incredible. So you've built, if you like, a beautiful sort of holistic home where you communicate, and that is key to healing of anything.
Yeah.
And not just key to healing, it's key to connection. And what happened in lockdown is we were all disconnected, and once again, the purpose of this channel is to reconnect, which is so beautiful about the opportunities that we've got even here today for you and I to reconnect, because it's sharing your stories on a platform that's going to help support others, going to be very much inspired by you, but also you're telling others how you live your life and over in Iceland, and how maybe we can learn from that and reconnect with each other. Put those phones down. I totally agree with you there. My goodness, the phones are ruling us instead of us ruling the phones. And have those moments to talk, because when you celebrate your day, the children are telling you what they've done today. You know, we see it, don't we, all the time, people on the phones, and they're not listening to the children, and they're pushing a pram. And what we need to do today is get that communication back. Would you agree with that? Go back to what our roots were. Is that right?
Yeah.
We
travel. We make sure we have activities with the girls, especially the teenager. We make sure we don't lose the connection with her, even though she's like, doesn't want to spend time with us all the time. But I think because it's a rule, it's something, it's fun.
Yes.
We play board games, and we do stuff with her, and so we do fun things together. So
and did you have that, Sigga? Did you have that, Sigga, when you were little? I did. We had loads of board games. My nana was huge influence on board games, and I can't understand why we've lost that, because it's such a brilliant way, isn't it, of getting the family together and laughter.
Yeah, well, during lockdown, we never had lockdown in Iceland. We just kind of our theaters. I was working at the National Theatre at the time, so I was doing plays, but it was just there were some periods where nothing was open.
Okay.
But there was just restrictions. You had to have like 5 seats between each person, so there was not a lot of people in the audience, but it was important for us, for our mental health. I was in a kids show, like a little kids musical, and it was so, like, I used to, like, there's one scene where I was on stage sitting on a bench, and there was me and a bunch of kids singing this beautiful little kind of kids choir song, and I was able to sit and look at the audience, and I was just and it made me cry, because I was like, there's people with masks, but they're doing this, communicating, they're getting to go to the theater, and it was it made me just love my job even more, to be able to do it. And
what would you say entertainment was then? Would you say that entertainment was so valuable, Sigga, as an entertainer? And tell us why. Why is entertainment so valuable?
Because we have to tell stories. We thrive on stories, and we thrive on, and also when the world was kind of constantly telling us everything is dangerous, the media is just like, don't go outside, don't talk to this, but wash your hands. I think we need to get lost in stories. I mean, people were like, I think Netflix and Disney Plus and all these channels saved a lot of lives, I think. I mean, because
it's escapism, isn't it? Escapism, coming out of the world of torment and into a fantasy world. And that's why entertainment is so important. And even today, and where we're not locked down, we are in a situation where we have television, we have your voiceover work, so we've got these cartoons which we're going to talk about, and we have musical theatre that you've done. So just the joy is pure joy and pure celebration and pure escapism from reality. So people in jobs that they're perhaps not so happy in. We're blessed, aren't we, that we love our job and it lights us up from the inside, and we're very, very lucky to be in a profession where we actually love our job. Very few people are so privileged as we are to be in that particular situation, and we are providing this so needed escapism from
Well,
reality.
it's also what I said before about like you have to talk about things, and to be able to talk about things, um, you have to see that other people have gone through similar things. So if you go see something, if you watch something and you see something on stage or hear someone sing about something that you connect with, then it's like then it kind of helps you talk about your experience maybe,
Yes.
and helps you realize that you're not alone.
Yeah,
So
that's very important, because it's not just all singing and dancing musicals, or there's also plays which are about these types of subjects, and again, or film, and that's also transcending everybody. So we do need cinemas, we do need theatre, we do need movies, we do need Netflix, we do need musical and live theatre, and we lost a lot of live theatre, and fortunately it's coming back now. And as you say, fortunately, we're all able to access it more readily, and it's you basically kept people going, so you kept yourself going through being able to work, obviously, but you also entertained those people who were going through enormous traumas, because this last 4 years, I'm sure you would agree, Sigga, has also been very traumatic for so many people in different ways. And so moving forwards, keep going to these things, would you say? Keep going to entertainment, keep lighting up your soul. And so tell us a little bit now about your musical theatre experience, and then we'll talk about your Eurovision song entry.
well, theaters in Iceland, they run in rep. So
Okay.
when I was at the National Theatre, I was in I think I was in 5 shows at the same time at one point.
Oh my
That's the
goodness.
only time when I thought, I don't remember my lines. I don't know what show I'm in.
I'm not surprised. My goodness.
But I also had a 2-year-old at the time, so I was kind of like, but yeah. So yeah, they run in rep. So, and when I did Jesus Christ Superstar at the City Theatre, I was also in like little other projects. And when I was at the National, I was in The Rhinoceros by UNESCO and UNESCO? Eugene, yeah. It felt like I was saying a wrong name for some reason. And I was in a kids play, and I was doing like, because it was COVID, we were also doing like radio plays, which was really fun.
Wow.
Doing all these like walking with shoes, like doing all these
Oh,
things.
that's amazing. Yes.
We used to go to elderly residents.
Yeah.
We had like a truck that we made into like a theater. So it opened on the side and it was like a little theater. And because of COVID, we made sure that we parked outside, and they came out with blankets, or the ones that weren't allowed to go outside, they had like radio signals from our truck, and we would sing songs and tell stories to them. I think that's kind of
Magic.
the most heartwarming thing. I did so many of those kind of things during COVID that which helped me so much.
And life is about helping other people. It's not about helping ourselves, and it never was. And most importantly, in these trying times, what you were doing was giving something back to the residential homes, is the word. So elderly residential homes. I mean, your English, by the way, is just impeccable. I think everybody's watching in awe. You're so fluent in the English language. I think it's just incredible that you can also speak. How many languages altogether? Is it Icelandic and English, or did you say Swedish there as well?
Danish.
Danish.
Yeah, I understand Swedish and Norwegian.
Wow.
And when I was growing up in Denmark, I watched German television.
Yeah.
Because my younger brother was little, and my mom, he cried a lot when he was little. So I I was in front of the TV a lot. And I watched Sesamstraße, which is Sesame Street, and Deutsch für Ausländer, which is German for foreigners, which is a program that teaches German. And
So sprechen Sie Deutsch? Yeah?
yeah, Vision, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm a little rusty in Deutsch, but in German. What was that? But when I go there, I understand. Like
Yes.
I can communicate.
I was once at my university teaching children in a little sort of after school club, and there was a little German girl who was only age 3, and by the end of the session she said to her mum, everybody else was English, and she said, this teacher has spoken to me in German throughout the entire time, but that's where it stops, age 3. So I was saying, kannst du spielen Tischtennis? Can you play table tennis? The most basic German, but her mother started to speak fluently in German, at which I said, oh, no, just basic. But I am not you, Sigga. That's as far as my skills go. I think you're incredible to speak so many languages, and particularly English so fluently. And your accent as well has a little bit of hint of Canadian there, which is gorgeous. Yeah. And that must lend itself to more opportunities in the American, as you say, with Pixar and things like that. So now dive into Pixar. So thank you for sharing your incredible inspirational story behind Sigga, the star, the superstar sensation. Now share with us your successes, Sigga, including Joy in Inside Out, and then Peppa Pig. This is the bit we're all waiting for.
Yeah, well, I didn't do the first season of Peppa Pig. There was another actress who did that, but
yeah.
And then I got cast, and in season 2 and up.
Wow.
And I'm actually, because they didn't realize that it was going to be so successful. So they were like, oh, this is kind of like a low budget cartoon thing for television. And I was like, okay, but I loved it. It was so fun. So I did all the female characters in Peppa Pig in Icelandic. So I'm like the mom, the grandma. I'm also George. At some point they realized, okay, maybe we shouldn't have a man speak for George.
You were so good at all the accents. They just thought, you know what, all the characters.
Yeah. Yeah. And then at the time I was also doing Diego, which is Dora the Explorer's cousin. It's like a spin-off series.
Yeah.
Diego, he's like an animal rescue boy.
Wow.
And what else?
Well, Joy in Inside Out. There's another.
Yeah, Joy. And Judy Hopps in Zootropolis, or Zootopia, I think it's called in the UK.
Okay.
Zootopia. She's a rabbit. And what else? The mom in Moana. What else?
And so how did you get into the voiceover artist work? That's important for anybody that wants to do it and follow in your footsteps.
Well, I was discovered by the director when I did like a musical theatre concert when I came back from Guildford.
Yeah.
I decided to do a concert of just like my repertoire, and he came to see it, and he asked me to come and audition for Jimmy Neutron, the film. And I was auditioning for one of his friends, a girl in the film, and I didn't get the part. And there was a boy cast in as Jimmy Neutron. His voice started breaking when he was in the middle of recording, and he couldn't finish the film. So I got called in, and because I work so fast, I think it's because of my music ears and I think also a language thing. Like I'm used to learning new languages, so I pick up quite easily.
Yeah.
So that was my first gig. I did that film in like a weekend, long hours, but we did it in a weekend. And so that was my first role, Jimmy Neutron.
And did you go into a recording studio, Sigga, or do you record from home? How does it work?
Always a recording studio.
Okay. So what you have there, Sigga, is a wealth of talent in all these different brilliant cartoon episodes. And now your young girls are also coming up the ranks and doing the same thing and copying their mum, which is just amazing. So I have to say, Pixar are built for life now. They just need to bring you and you can do them all the characters. But on top of that, tell us about the Eurovision Song entry. And how was that? What was that like?
Well, it's a big thing in Iceland, Eurovision,
Yeah.
and RÚV, which is the like the Icelandic BBC, they have this kind of preliminaries in once a year in usually in like January, February, and composers send in songs, and I think it's usually like 10 to 12 songs that are picked, and then Iceland votes.
Wow.
Who goes forward. And I had been like a backup singer for other people in that contest, but my husband and I we sent in an entry and we got picked.
Wow.
And
What were you called, Sigga? What was the name? Your name, your personal name, or was it a band name?
Oh, it was just me, Sigga Eyrun.
Sigga Eyrun. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so we did the song, and then we got to the finals, and then we got to like there was like a what do you call it? Like you know, when two people go against each other, we were like the top two.
Yes.
So and then there was like the final voting, and yeah, we came second. It was in 2014. So but we was two totally different acts. Like mine was all like dancey and singy and like pop, and all like sequence dresses and girls dancing with like feathers, and then the one that the act that won was called Pollapunk, which is more like they're like a punk rock band for kids.
Okay, so completely diverse, completely different entrants. So hard to choose between, really.
Yeah, no, I didn't take it personally, not at all.
Wow.
We had a great act, but it was just like two different acts. And
what an inspiration there as well. I mean, goodness me, you really are. You've got so many pockets of inspiring stories and experiences that you've been through, Sigga. This is just incredible for anybody listening. What a wealth of talent and experience you've had. That's incredible. I'm sure the Guildford School of Acting will be very proud of you hearing this.
Hopefully.
And so tell me how it was going to drama school for you. Did you enjoy the experience? I know you were hardworking, as I was as well. How did that feel at the Guildford School of Acting? And would you say that that stood you in good stead for what was then to come? Because we both trained with Jamie Beamish, who's also been on this show already, and he's a wonderful actor and been in the television Nasty Nigel in Bridgerton as Nasty Nigel, and Derry Girls. He was brilliant in that as well, and a lovely guy. We had a lovely group. How did that feel for you at the Guildford School of Acting, particularly coming over from Iceland? How was the experience for anybody wanting to follow again in your footsteps?
I loved it. I feel like I made really good friends there.
Yes.
I was just talking to Josh yesterday.
And
I've gone to Sweden and met with Maria a couple of times.
Wow.
And Mark came to my wedding. And
lovely.
And so I've met Carl in London, and Kat has come to Iceland to stay with me, and I mean,
a great connection and a great lot of talent.
Yeah, so many great people. I'm worried that I'm not mentioning people that I'm in touch with.
Oh, no, don't worry. But there's a lot of people there. And we had, as I say, it was a global group, as Jamie and I discussed. It was people from all over the world, international. And you've all gone on to do such amazing things. You really have. It's so lovely to watch, honestly. Very, very well done. And what would you say were the attributes of going to drama school, Sigga?
I think it taught me to kind of focus my career. I mean, my career had started, but now I kind of it taught me some work ethics, and
Yes.
um yeah,
Because
I
we
kind of
worked hard, didn't we? We
yeah.
worked hard, but when you love something, you don't realize how hard you're working. So
No.
we would be, like you say, tap Ballymodern, maybe first thing in the morning with West End professionals, lady
Yeah.
from Cats teaching us ballet, for example, and then the Royal Shakespeare Company would have actors from there guiding us through the plays. Jerry Tebbett, brilliant gentleman with our songs. How did you feel coming in each week doing the singing? And now you're obviously in those shoes yourself. How did it feel for you?
Uh, I got a really good singing teacher, and I'm terrible with names. I can't remember her name.
I know who you mean, and I can't remember her name, but I know who you mean. A lady, yes.
Yes,
She was superb. Yeah.
she was so good, and she was like no bullshit type. She was kind of, we started working, and I can be quite chatty and kind of go like, oh, I don't want to. Maybe I should do this. Maybe not. Maybe at the time I was like, and she was like, just do it. Just sing the song, and let's talk about it after. And I was like, okay. But
Did she?
But no,
Yes.
I mean, I feel like she was very focused, and she just gave me really practical tools.
Yeah.
I liked her.
Yes, and we had different vocal coaches, didn't we?
Yeah,
And mine was a gentleman, and he also had that focus as well. And I think that's important,
yeah,
that you're not just training in the live musicals that we put together. We did a Fiddler on the Roof, didn't we? In fact, you and I shared a scene because I was Grandma and you
yeah.
were Prima Sarah, and
Hmm.
your voice just filled the auditorium. Just incredible. You really are.
Yeah,
So that was lovely experience as well, and that was at the Yvonne Arno Theatre in Guildford, wasn't it? So from there, you sort of, like myself, you learnt the tools of the trade, and did that open doors when you then returned to Iceland? Um, did you feel that that opened some doors because you'd had that accredited training?
yeah. I got a part in Iceland uh, right after I graduated, so I moved back. I graduated in July, and I moved back in January. Started work.
2000, yeah.
Yeah, and in 2001 I moved back. And I did a play here, but I felt, because it was musical theater training, I kind of missed, I wanted to do more acting training. So that's when I went to Canada. The director that was directing me in Iceland, she kind of recommended that I should maybe come, and she could be my mentor.
Yeah.
And she's a very good friend today. And she, yeah, so I went to Canada, and it was also love that drove me there, but didn't work
Ah.
through.
Oh, okay.
Work out, I mean. But that's fine.
Oh.
I'm very happy today. So, but when I was there, I was doing a lot of workshops in acting, and that focused me more in the acting part.
So, hello, Sigga. This is Tinker, and he is my co-host on today's podcast. And he's been watching and listening to every word you're saying, and he's very honoured to meet a special guest from Iceland today, that you are. And honestly, Sigga, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Do you have any final words of wisdom that you can share with Tinker and myself? On health and entertainment, and how to look after yourself in this world today, balancing things, as you say, finding the balance in all things so that you enjoy your work, but you also balance it with your family, and also, put those phones down and have joy at the table. Any sort of things that you can share with us, anybody wanting to be like yourself and do the things that you're doing today?
Never do boring things. I think that's, I have a friend, we've done a lot of done a lot of concert together. We've worked a lot in theater. We've created shows together, and we made a pact that our project that we is kind of ongoing all the time, that we always stop if it's not fun. It always has to be fun,
Yes.
especially the kind of projects that you kind of don't get much paid for. Then
Yes.
it has
Yes.
to be fun. and let go of anger.
Yes.
Stay happy as much as you can.
Yes.
Life is short.
Absolutely. Well, I think those are incredible, valuable words to conclude today's podcast. And I have to say, it's been an absolute honour and privilege and pleasure to have you on, Sigga. It's been a joy to reconnect with you, of course, after all these years as well. And you've always had the most incredible singing voice. And I'm sure that opportunities ahead are going to come knocking more and more. And did you say you're in a band at the moment? Is that right?
No, it's more like a solo career. I have
Okay.
an album on Spotify. You can follow me on Spotify, and I released some singles there. But there's an album in the making. So
Fantastic. And how will people find you, Sigga, just to finish today? How can people find you on socials if they want to connect with you in any way?
it's Sigga Eyrun, SIGGAEYRUN.
Fantastic. And honestly, it's been an absolute joy and privilege to talk to you today. Thank you for sharing your incredible journey, your incredible insight and wisdom. And I wish you every success ahead. Thank you very much indeed, Sigga, for today. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. May the sun continue to shine on you.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Sigga. God
Thank
bless.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye.
Ég heiti Gurra Grís. Þetta Georg, litli bróðir minn. Þetta mamma Grís. Og þetta pabbi Grís. Gurra Grís. Stjörnur.
Það næstum háttatími. Mamma grís, pabbi grís og Gurra að drekka flóaða mjólk. Georg, af hverju ertu í þessum geimbúningi? Þú átt að vera í náttfötunum. Georg elskar allt geiminn.
Georg, taktu geimhjálminn af þér meðan þú drekkur mjólkina. Ókei, jæja, þetta virkar ekki og það í lagi, allt í lagi. Þetta vonlaust. Ég segi, hættum með það tíma og göngum til baka.
Öll þessi ferð, bara röð af blindari og blindari götum. Alveg síðan gelgjuskeiðsviðvörunin fór í gang, virkar ekkert hérna eins og það á að gera.
Ég þekki ekki einu sinni þennan stað lengur. Það bjart úti, klukkan 1 nótt.
Ég hef aldrei verið inn í svona mörgum krukkum á ævinni.
Og sú Dagný sem við þekktum farin.
Og ef gleði sér það ekki, já, þá hún virkilega illa áttuð.
Illa áttuð? Auðvitað ég illa áttuð! Vitið þið hvað það erfitt að vera jákvæð allan tíma þegar það eina sem þið gerið að kvarta! Farið það í hoppandi hálótta lossuðu tertu! Haldið að ég hafi öll svörin nú? Auðvitað ekki! Við finnum ekki einu sinni aftasta hlut okkar eigin huga. Þetta rétt hjá áhyggju. Dagný þarfnast okkar ekki mikið og þarfnast þeirra. Og það sárt. Það mjög sárt.
Gleði, þú hefur gert mörg mistök, mörg. Og þú gerir miklu fleiri í framtíðinni. En ef þú lætur það stoppa þig, gætu við eins vel lagst niður og gefist upp strax.
Já, eiginlega hljómar það bara nokkuð vel. Á!
Komdu.
Gellir. Sjá okkur, utangarðs. Eitraður froskur og ófleygt frík. Svo ólík, en þó alveg eins. Sefur það allt gott, engin vá, ég vinur þinn, já, en ég leyndarmál á, mig langar að tjá. Ég þér. Allir segja rangt, aðeins rugl, ef að froskur og fugl verða par, en mitt hjarta það veit, þetta svo gott og rétt. Að geta gefið knús eða koss var í konunglegt nótt, en þá springið þér lungun og allt var í gröss, og þú kóðist králkur og slói. Oj. En væni ég skal verja þig vel, sofðu rótt, hvíldu stél, því ekki til fugl ég slæ ekki í hel. Vegna þín, augljóst að þú tilheyrir mér, því smá, ekki má, því að það yrði nóg á þín sár, fell ég tár, þú ert nár, eftir eitraða ást.